So if you're looking for a budget tablet, you might be wondering, should I buy an iPad or should I buy something from Android? Should I buy something like the iPad 11, the latest generation that's out, or should I buy something like the Galaxy Tab S10 FE? Well, I'm going to let you know my thoughts in this comparison. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's compare these two devices. So we live in an internet age that is very polarized, and a lot of people, they expect me to come out and tell you that you should buy an Android tablet, only buy from Android, and some people, they expect the opposite. And the truth isn't either of those things. I am someone who wants to help my audience. And if you're comparing the iPad with pretty much any Android tablet on the budget side, it is going to be very, very complicated. So if we look at the iPad 11, for example, the iPad 11, it actually has a really, really nice screen for the money. If you're comparing it with the Galaxy Tab S10 FE, for example, you are going to get a little bit of a better PPI. It's going to look really, really good. It's got a good resolution on the screen. There are some things that I don't like about the display, but still, the display for a budget tablet that you could find normally around $300 on sale, that iPad is going to have a pretty good screen. And the iPad, it crushes with performance. The performance, if you're running benchmarks on an iPad and comparing it with pretty much any budget Android tablet, you are going to find that the iPad is absolutely superior when it comes to basic performance and when it comes to things like GPU performance. It crushes the Galaxy Tab S10 FE, and it even crushes the Galaxy Tab A11 Plus. So you might think the iPad is the automatic winner because it does have a better display in some ways, and it does have better performance. So if it's going to be better performing and have a good display, it's going to be the best for most people, right? Not exactly. The iPad, if you're looking at it, the display is really, really nice. And I do think the quality of the tablet overall, if you're looking at the design, the quality is really, really good too. First of all, the screen on the iPad, it is going to be very, very reflective. And it is something that I've noticed a lot of people have complained about online. And one other thing that's really annoying to me, my iPad, it did get scratched up very early in my testing. And even when I bought an iPad for my dad, like a few months prior to this, I did buy an iPad, I was excited to get it, and then there was a piece of dust under the screen. I've never experienced that on any tablet, but I remember working at a repair shop once a few years back, and this repair shop, they did notice that dust easily got under these iPad screens, just with the way they make them. So I would say the iPad is going to have a little bit more of a fragile display, and it also only has a 60 Hz refresh rate on the display. But if you look at something like an Android tablet, something like the Galaxy Tab S10 FE. Now I only mention the S10 FE because it often goes on sale around $350. So if you get the S10 FE around $350, it's very close to the iPad as far as what you'll see it at a store. But I would say a lot of the specs of the S10 FE, they're going to be pretty similar to the specs you'll see in the Galaxy Tab S10 Lite. So take it with a grain of salt. It really does depend on which devices you see on sale. But if I compare the S10 FE with the iPad 11, the screens look very, very similar as far as quality is concerned, but I do get a better refresh rate on the screen of the Galaxy Tab, and I will say as well, it's not going to be quite as fragile. But you will see one other bonus with budget Samsung tablets that is a really big deal. It's the fact that it actually comes with a stylus. So normally on an iPad, you'll spend $300 or $329, maybe $350 depending on if you find this on sale or not. But then you have to buy a separate stylus, which is very, very annoying. Now, even if Apple does drop another budget tablet out there, let's just say they drop one very, very soon because I'm expecting it, that tablet also won't come with the stylus. So this comparison, it won't be out of date. It's still going to make plenty of sense. If you get a Samsung tablet, you are getting an SD card slot and a stylus. And that does add a lot of value because you can expand your storage, which would typically cost a lot of money with Apple because you'd have to buy a higher tier model. But also with an SD card slot, you're also getting that S Pen or that stylus. And that does add value because if you got an iPad, you'd have to spend more money to get that too. So in a lot of ways, the S10 FE, even if it wasn't on sale, it would actually be a pretty fair comparison with the iPad. But with all the sales that you might see on the S10 FE, it might end up being a better deal for a lot of you. If you're someone that wants a stylus, you want to use your tablet to draw or take notes, I do think Samsung has the edge. Yes, you will see more performance on an iPad. It is better performing, there is no doubt about it. It does crush Samsung tablets when it comes to benchmarks. But if I'm doing work on my Galaxy tablet, like the Galaxy Tab S10 FE for example, if I go to eBay and then I go to ESPN, if I go to Twitter or X and I'm going back and forth between all of these apps, it does not slow down for me. As long as the app opens up for the first time, it takes a few seconds to load, and then I can go back and forth between several apps at the same time. You have to remember that the Galaxy Tab S10 FE, it does come with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and even the Galaxy Tab A11 Plus, which is a budget tablet that Samsung offers around $200, that tablet also has 6 gigabytes of RAM. Even that can do plenty of things at the same time without slowing down. So I know technically the benchmarks won't be as good with a Galaxy tablet, but a lot of people don't need that. A lot of people would prefer a more durable screen. They might prefer water resistance because you will actually get some good water resistance with the Galaxy Tab S10 FE, which is really nice. So if you think about your tablet getting wet, that could cost you hundreds of dollars in lost value with an iPad, but you could save that on an insurance claim with a Galaxy tablet. You could get the stylus, which will save you money, the SD card. There is a great value proposition when you're looking at Samsung. But I can't lie, there are some advantages that you can give to the iPad. So the iPad, for example, it is going to have slightly better and more optimized software. If you are someone that does use an iPhone, I would just recommend buying the iPad. Getting that integration between your devices, it is essential for a lot of people out there. And even if you use Android devices, I did find it was actually pretty easy to switch over. It was very hard to transfer all my stuff over to the iPad, but once I got it going and I logged into my Google account, it was actually able to save even passwords onto the iPad. So I was able to switch over to an iPad pretty easily, even as an Android guy. And if you just want a really good display that looks good and performance, and you really just want it to fly through stuff, if you don't care as much about battery life and you just want a really nice tablet, maybe you want to put a tempered glass screen protector on it anyway, right away, the iPad's a good option. Again, the battery life won't be quite as good, it won't be as good for taking notes, it's not going to come with a stylus, you'll have to pay more money to get it, and the Android integration, it's still not quite as good. But the iPad is terrific, it's an amazing budget tablet, and for anyone out there using an Apple product, I would highly recommend getting the budget iPad or even getting a different iPad if you are looking for something to go along with your iPhone, because it's so good. A lot of times we're comparing milliseconds as far as performance. These budget Samsung tablets, like the Galaxy Tab S10 FE, it performs plenty good enough for almost anyone out there looking to do some basic stuff on a tablet. But if you're wanting to do a little bit more, or even not, the iPad is really good. It's a little bit better with performance. It still looks great. A lot of people won't notice that the refresh rate is a little bit worse. And you might want that compatibility with your apps. So there are plenty of reasons to go with the iPad. And as long as you're okay charging it a little bit more, I think it's going to be more than good enough for so many people out there wanting a great experience. But if you're a value hunter and you want an all-around tablet that does still provide great software updates, because the iPad and Android tablets, they're both going to be supported for years and years. We're getting like 7 years of operating system updates from Samsung. Even on most of their budget devices, they're doing at least 6 or 7 years. So you're going to get great support from the iPad, great support from Samsung. You're going to get pretty good displays for the money. Samsung will basically give you some extra bonuses for around the same price, and you'll get better battery life and a little bit of better durability or water resistance, while the iPad will just give you a little more raw power and a little bit of a better screen, even if it's a little bit reflective. It's going to be really, really close neck and neck. So I just wanted to make this video to really point some people in the right direction. At the end of the day, I'm still going to point people who use Apple, people like my parents. I'm going to recommend that they actually use the iPad. They have iPhones already, they are in the Apple ecosystem, and they like it, and that's okay. And I'm going to point them in that direction. But as for my house, I know we are Android people. We would rather have Android integration. We would rather have an S Pen or a stylus or an SD card slot. We would much rather have a more durable device that's going to last us as far as water resistance. So I personally would take the Galaxy Tab S10 FE. I would even take the S10 Lite personally over the iPad 11. But some people out there are going to see that 11-inch iPad, the budget iPad that's out, and they are going to love it. And I wouldn't blame them one bit. But hopefully this comparison helps you to know which person you are. Let me know in the comments if you prefer the iPad or if you prefer Android. Also, if you really like my content, look, I cover Android on this channel. I do review Android phones and tablets. So if you really like what you're seeing here, please give me a like on this video, subscribe to my channel, and check the links below to check out those sales, because a lot of these devices, they go on sale over time. Thank you again for all your support. It means the world. Please keep supporting my channel, keep pushing it to the moon, because I'm a family man and your support, it really means a lot. And if life is hard for you, if life is really, really difficult, I just want to say I'm sorry. Life could be hard for a lot of people, and no matter what you're going through, I really hope you have a good day, and I really, really hope that you could have a much better week.